Chapter 560, Senior Brother and Senior Sister Apprentices. This chapter is updated by novels.pl. Zhang Yuochen leapt onto Embekilin's back and looked out to the sea, but there was no trace of Monk Lidai. The monk must have left. Swoosh. Embekilin's headed swings spread out and Zhang Yuochen was riding on its back. They flew through a strong gust of wind, and the Embekilin brought Zhang Yuochen and Demi Saint Lingxiu soaring to the sky. In the direction of Huangyu Island. There were flames blazing on the Embekilin's wings, and they were extremely hot. However, after Demi Saint Lingxiu tamed the creature, the fire had become much calmer, without a hint of aggression. The Embekilin was flying on the sea area where the pillar of the vicious sea used to be, but at that moment the sea area was calm. Demi Saint Lingxiu seemed to know what Zhang Yuochen was thinking. She said, "When I was searching for you, I had seen the three war saints, who were stationed by the Ministry of War at Myriad Chaos Mountain. All had arrived at the same time. They took over the pillar of the vicious sea." Zhang Yuochen was beating around the bush when he remarked, "Senior Sister Apprentice, that is an extremely powerful evil weapon. Its method of forging seems quite different from what is employed throughout Kunlun's field." Demi Saint Lingxiu glanced at Zhang Yuochen, and raised her head to watch the boundless sky. She said to herself, "This kaleidoscopic universe contains all sorts of wonders. Kunlun's field is limitless and even the eastern region's borders extend vastly. There are so many places that are not known, even to saints." Junior fellow apprentice, you have barely traveled and have only been to a couple of places. How would you know that Kunlun Field's unique way of forging weapons doesn't exist anywhere else? Only by reading thousands of books, traveling thousands of miles, observing and undergoing myriad worldly experiences, could you reach the half-saint realm. Let me give you a suggestion. When you return to the Saint Academy, don't just stay inside. Go out and experience the world. That might make it easier for you to comprehend this world. Zhang Yuochen nodded his head, keeping Demi Saint Lingxiu's words close to his heart. In his previous lifetime, Zhang Yuochen had spent so much time practicing. He had almost never traveled alone outside to gain experience. In this lifetime, Zhang Yuochen had merely accumulated military merits in the battlefield of primitive world. For him, it was simply an orgy of killing one after another. He had only read about scenic spots and historical sites but had never gotten the chance to visit any. Even when he needed to learn how to function in society, he gained it from reading books. He had not had any opportunity to experience them himself. Read 1,000 scrolls of books, travel 1,000 miles. Maybe he really ought to go out and travel, experience the countless wonders of this boundless universe. Perhaps he would encounter the schemes and deceptions of humanity, or he might even lose himself to temptation. It takes experience to prove that you have once existed in this world. Demi Saint Lingxiu then revealed to Zhang Yuochen, "In fact, there are things which I can't tell you right now, because I'm afraid they might hinder your cultivation progress." Zhang Yuochen glanced at Demi Saint Lingxiu, but she had shut her eyes close. So he didn't ask her any further questions. After swallowing one mouthful of the blood of wood spirit, Zhang Yuochen started to heal himself. Under the escort of Demi Saint Lingxiu, it was a remarkably smooth journey, without any bumps or danger. Zhang Yuochen arrived safely at Myriad Chaos Mountain. Thousands of miles of military camps could be seen from the Myriad Chaos Mountain, and there were dozens of palaces hanging in midair. Each palace looked like a deity's mansion. A common soldier of the primitive world could only admire it from afar. They would never get the chance to enter these palaces, and they would never know the big shots that resided within the palaces. The King Palace was over 300 meters high, cast out of dark steel and entirely black. Its roof tiles, rafters, pillars, and windows were all interconnected, giving off an imposing, solemn atmosphere. The owner of the King Palace, Saint King Xiao, was a war saint at the Ministry of Military Affairs. He was the eldest disciple of Elder Xuanji. Zhang Yuochen and Demi Saint Lingxiu entered King Palace. Both bowed and said in unison, "Your disciples hereby pay our respects to Master." Dressed in a white robe, Elder Xuanji stood at the center of the hall. He turned around and scrutinized Zhang Yuochen. He laughed. 10 years make up a decade, and 100 years make up a century. 70 years ago, Little Holy King Wanzeoi massacred 3 realms in the Lingchuan primitive world. He slaughtered all indigenous creatures who had reached beyond the completion of the Earth realm. The act allowed him to break into the ultimate realm of the Heaven realm. Everyone believed that he owned the century. No one could surpass him. But as your teacher, I feel your potential exceeds even Wanzeoi's. Zhang Yuochen said humbly. No one knows how many talented geniuses were born in Kunlun's field within the past 100 years. This small achievement of mine is not comparable to others. In the past 50 years, aside from Little Holy King, there have been over 100 saintly beings born in Kunlun's field. Everyone stands heads over shoulders amongst other men. I need to work harder to catch up with everyone else. A loud, boisterous laugh erupted from the left of the hall. Youngest junior brother, you are too modest. No one knows who will be the ultimate winners or losers in this century, but I know that this decade belongs to you. As your second senior brother apprentice, I think you are unbeatable. Within King Palace there were 2 more persons besides Elder Xuanji. Sitting on the left was Zhongtao, Zhang Yuochen's second senior brother apprentice. Zhongtao was a big man. He was a hefty 4 meters and 30 centimeters tall, and had large ears and a fleshy face. His waist was as thick as a millstone, and he wore a scarlet pair of pants. His upper body was draped with a green silk garment. He bared his chest as he sat at the teal wood table, chewing meat vigorously and swallowing wine in big gulps. Zhang Yuochen felt the powerful aura peculiar to a savage beast. He knew that Zhongtao was not human. It wasn't uncommon for humans to accept savage beasts as disciples. So Zhang Yuochen wasn't surprised. Sitting on the right was Zhang Yuochen's third senior brother apprentice, Wonk. He was well-bred and gracious. He wore a white gown, with every button meticulously buttoned, and every strand of hair on his head meticulously combed. No one strand went loose. He looked almost 30 years old, with a handsome, refined countenance. Without a strand of facial hair, his features were delicate and his actions were courteous. He always had a modest smile lingering at the corner of his lips. Demi Saint Lingxiu had spoken to Zhang Yuochen about the distinguishing features of his elder brother apprentices, so it was not hard for him to tell them apart. He quickly bowed and paid respects to his second and third elder brother apprentices. Second senior brother apprentice waved his hand and laughed again. Don't be too formal. After all, it's just between us fellow apprentices. Hey youngest junior brother, I heard you have captured Orange Star Emissary from Black Market Excellence Hall, and have made her your wife. I've got to hand it to you. Shouldn't we exchange some pointers over this? Ahem. Third senior brother apprentice Wonk gave 2 dry coughs and glared at Zhongtao. He then said, second senior brother, our youngest fellow apprentice doesn't have a poor taste like you. From what I could gather, his fiancée is the favored daughter of the East Region Saint Mansions. They are getting married soon. Wouldn't you make his wife angry if you bring him to visit those places you frequent? Zhongtao's eyes lit up, and he riveted his sight upon Zhang Yuochen. Are you telling the truth? Our junior brother here's getting married so soon? As far as I know, the cellars of the East Region Saint Mansions have some rare wine brewed by Feng Zhuixing, and the wine is immortal. Could it be that I'm getting a rare treat? Zhang Yuochen smiled and said, according to the marriage pledge, it is indeed almost time we are wedded. I believe we shall start making preparations for this matter after I return. At first, Zhongtao was excited, but then he realized something and puckered his brows. He sighed. The marriage. Well, if you have decided, youngest junior brother, I wouldn't talk you out of it. Don't hesitate to ask me for any help. Many will still give me some face in the Eastern region, I believe. Wonk pondered for a moment, and said, at first I was thinking of presenting my junior brother with a gift or 2 upon our first meeting. But as I came in some haste this time, I forgot to prepare one. On your wedding day, youngest junior brother, I shall make up for it with a lavish gift. Demi Saint Lingxiu laughed and said, third senior brother, aren't you just a little bit stingy? A meeting gift should count as a meeting gift. You shouldn't mix it up with a wedding present. I remember this shooting star invisible cloak of yours. It can render a person invisible and mask his body scent for over 30 meters. Even a saint's 5 senses can't detect it. Wonk felt a stab of pain. The shooting star invisible cloak ranked top 3 in the number of treasures he owned within his arsenal. The shooting star invisible cloak had many wonderful properties. It wasn't just an invisible cloak, but also a defensive holy weapon, which could help a monk withstand 90% of any attack. After putting the cloak on, a monk could fly ahead with the speed of a meteor. This meant that the cloak could help people escape attacks, even when attacked by a saint. One could attain the 9th realm of the half-saint realm. He was only one step away from reaching the saint realm. The shooting star invisible cloak offered little use to him now. He wanted to wait and present the shooting star invisible cloak to Zhang Yuochen as a wedding day gift. He hadn't expected Demi Saint Lingxiu to bring it up this soon. If he were to gift Zhang Yuochen with the shooting star invisible cloak now, what would he give for his wedding? Certainly, he could not give anything worse than a shooting star invisible cloak. Headache? What a headache! Just as Wonk was facing this dilemma, Zihongtao gave a roar. Never mind. Third senior brother is a well-known Scrooge. But I am certainly not one. I can offer nothing less to my junior brother. After saying that, Zihongtao spat out a golden ball from his mouth. The ball gyrated in midair with a humming noise. Textured lines on its surface glittered incessantly, forming unique characters on the surface. Demi Saint Lingxiu was somewhat astounded. The golden beast essence pill. She shouted. Zhang Yuochen was also surprised. He took a step forward, and said in haste, "This gift of yours is too expensive, second senior brother. I can't accept it." Only savage beasts of Archean survival could absorb the quintessences of sun and moon and condense them into a golden beast essence pill. Archean survival beasts were rarer than the offsprings of mythical beasts. They had immense fighting strength. In the same realm, one Archean survival beast could rival 2 offsprings of mythical beasts, and a mythical beast offspring could easily defeat 10 ordinary savage beasts within the same realm. Nowadays almost all savage beasts practice their holy source, but only very few could condense their quintessence into a golden beast essence pill. As a matter of fact, a golden beast essence pill was no different from a holy source. It also contained an immense amount of holy chi, as well as a great deal of knowledge. The only differences lay in the facts that a golden beast essence pill was easy to absorb for a monk, and that the pill would not be rejected within a monk's body. Even an Archean survival beast would take 100 years to cultivate one golden beast essence pill. Anyone could tell that it was a rare item. For second senior brother apprentice, a valuable treasure like that could be offered casually as a gift, but Zhang Yuochen simply could not accept it.